Hey everyone, I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are having a fantastic Sunday. I am sitting in our new chicken coop, which my wife has been building with her own fair hands from a plan she made up herself. It's brilliant. So people have been asking her for the plans for the coop, so maybe she'll share them online. This is going to be for our 7 new chicks that arrived today. Obviously they're not going to go out there for 8 weeks or so. They're going to be in the brooder box. You might see them later on today in the hangout, maybe. Depends whether they're doing okay and whether I'm inside or whether I'm outside. Obviously we can't put the chicks outside because it'll be raining and cold and nasty, but I think it's going to be raining later, so I'll probably be doing the hangout inside anyway. Anyway, that is not what I want to talk to you about today. By the way, thank you for all of the kind responses that you've been giving to the Sunday musings for the last couple of weeks. Sorry, I've got hay fever. Hay fever is coming in and it's making my voice a little gravelly and it's making me a little short of breath, which is not fun. Anyway, I want to talk to you about YouTubers and journalists and editorial independence. So this week, on yesterday's show, in fact, we covered a news story about a Porsche Taycan driver who made a video about how rubbish, how bad the Taycan charging station software was within the car. Now, that software allows you to plan a route and to find a charging station. I've got sap all over my finger. Must be spring. The charging station software was really unreliable. It didn't tell the driver what type of charging station was at the other end, didn't tell them how long they needed to charge, or even if the charging station was still working. And the person made a video about it, and Porsche reached out and was like, we don't like that, can you modify a bit of the video, which he did. I don't know the details of it, so I'm kind of going a bit on the he said, she said thing, but this is not the first time I've heard of automakers trying to influence people who make YouTube videos. Now, in this case, I think the guy he's not really a YouTuber, he's a regular person who's making YouTube content occasionally. But as a YouTuber, companies have hinted in the past, or maybe you could say this in a video, or I've met journalists, I know journalists who have had the same thing said to them. And just for clarity here, Transport Evolved never says stuff that we're told to say. We always report it. So if an automaker says, we want you to say this thing about this car, we will normally couch it as name of automaker tells us XYZ, we think ABC. That's how we normally do it. We're also really careful about making sure that any trips that we're invited on by an automaker specifically say, we were invited on this press drive by this car company and we retain editorial independence. But at what point are you okay with a car company reaching out and going, actually, your experience is not accurate, we would like you to change this, or please take this down because that's not cool? And how would you feel about automakers leveraging control over videos about things like using third-party devices or getting into your car's firmware to tweak something? Would you be okay with that video? Would you be okay with that video being taken down by an automaker because the automaker would say, no, you're showing somebody how to do something that we don't want them to do with their car, or worse still, we think you're showing off our proprietary stuff, please stop. I've heard rumbles in the past of this kind of stuff happening. The problem is, normally when lawyers get involved, that the person in question goes quiet. You don't hear anything else. So, for example, I know that even though Tesla's supercharging is being turned off for salvage cars, I know there are people who have worked around that problem. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs, but I have friends and contacts who know ways around that. But Tesla has threatened legal action if any of those people disclose it. I know the people in question have asked me to keep that quiet, so I'm not going to discuss that. But if an automaker or a car company doesn't say at the get-go, you can't say this, or we'd ask you not to say this, then I'm okay with it. But if a somebody who's a customer buys the car and makes a video about it, it feels slightly different. So, you know, to reiterate, if an automaker says we don't want you to talk about this, there needs to be a good reason for it. So, for example, sometimes if we go on a launch, we will talk to an engineer about the car, and the engineer will say, I can tell you this, this and this about the car, and I can tell you that in a couple of months we're going to do this, this and this, but you're not allowed to say that. That is under embargo, that is non-disclosure. I understand that's different to somebody making a public video and then having someone come after them for it or ask them to change it. So at what point can automakers interfere with reporting or videos? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm really keen to know what you think. I know for a fact if I made a video about one of our cars, they're both Bolts, and we did something that was well known, that was covered by other people, and then Chevy got in touch and was upset about it, I'd be pretty ticked off, and I would not be happy. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you are out and about at the moment, please do wear a mask. I know that some countries are rolling back their stay-at-home orders, but we don't want a reinfection and we don't want a second wave. This is a nasty virus that's going around, and everybody deserves to be safe. And if you are interacting with people in public, keep those interactions low. Only go to the shop when you need to, you know, stay safe, look after your family. If you have to go out and work, I hope you can stay safe. And if you have a friend who's an EMT or a doctor or a nurse, or they happen to work in an industry that's considered essential, give them some extra love. I sent one of my friends this week some money for coffee because he'd had a really tough week, and just show kindness to other people. It'll help us get through this much, much quicker. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep evolving.